All right, Super Centex After Dark. Michael, Chad, Bryce. Michael's still out in Bremond, and we were just talking about it. He got a chance to see the Tigers for the first time this year, Chad, and he walked away a little impressed, didn't you?
Oh gosh, guys, they're good. It's I spent the whole week, Chad, talking about this Chilton defense is this immovable object, or I'm sorry, this impenetrable force, or I can't remember how I worded it. They're really good. They're only giving up 3 points a week. Have only what they've only given up 22 points on the year, and Bremont comes out and scores 28 and a half in the first half. So that pretty much sums it up. Tank Scott, you've talked about him all year, Chad. You've seen him a lot. Dude runs hard. He's violent. He he'll turn nothings into 6 yard gain. His ability to just make something out of nothing blows my mind. And if you let him get loose, he makes you pay. He did so on an 83-yard touchdown. I think it was in the first half at some point. And it's like
Yeah.
you sometimes have to just throw your hands up and you're like, that's just a dude, you know?
Were
And
they
yeah,
balanced or were they
Bremont
mostly running the ball with Tank?
pretty run heavy today, but Sam Kosowski did make some nice plays. I will say Sam early was throwing the ball well. His receivers were dropping a lot of passes, but Tristan Moorhead was able to break loose for a 30-yard touchdown over the top in the third quarter, I believe. So,
Hmm.
they did get it done in both ways, but most of their offense was work down the field, get to the goal line, and then either Tyreek Scott or Tank Scott
Hmm.
just get a touchdown. And
Hmm.
you know, I ended up talking to both coaches, and Bremond knows what Bremond has. Bremond
Hmm.
coming off of a state semifinal appearance last year. Uh,
Hmm.
they're hungry. They're hungry for more. They brought back almost everybody, as we've talked about, from that team. And
Hmm.
these guys. I mean, I asked Tank Scott. I said, "What is this team capable of?" And he was like, "We know we can do a lot, but we've kind of that cliche. We've still got to take it one day at a time." And so they're not getting too far ahead of themselves. But guys, like uh, they looked like a team capable of winning state to me, or at least getting to that point again. I don't really see anyone, maybe Chilton down the line, if Chilton can clean a few things up. Like I wouldn't be surprised if these two teams saw each other again. And I'll just say real quick, that was kind of the calling card for Chilton after this. I'll paint you guys a little bit of a picture. It's a
Hmm.
big, obviously it's a rivalry game. Like these teams have played
Hmm.
each other tough over the years. There's a respect, but there's also a desire to beat each other bad.
Hmm.
And both teams stood for each other's school song. Nice thing to do, as you should. I think we've seen that a lot throughout the year from a lot of schools. But
Hmm.
as Chilton was kind of doing its post game huddle with coach, and they're kind of you know
Hmm.
just recapping the game from their standpoint. A decent group of Bremond kids kind of made a little mosh pit just off to the side of them. They're jumping, they're dancing, and they're chanting beat Chilton. And I asked I didn't ask Coach Hewitt specifically about that, but in my last question to him, he brought it up. He said, "Look, I respect them for doing that. I get it." He said, "But I looked in my kids' eyes and they noticed it. It was not, they're right there next to them. They saw it. And that's going to motivate them to get back to maybe seeing them down the line." So,
Good. Yeah, let's have a regional final. Let me ask you something. Did
okay.
Bremont win the trenches in a big way?
Chilton didn't get the push it normally does because Chilton's a
Hmm.
pretty big team up front.
Hmm.
And but I'll tell you what, man, Bremond is huge too. They've got some freaking guys up front,
Hmm.
and I mean, Sam was rarely under pressure, which Chilton
Hmm.
does a good job of kind of living in the backfield and
Hmm.
pressuring opposing teams, getting
Hmm.
getting TFLs, getting sacks, making guys or making teams play behind the sticks. I think Bremont had two negative plays from scrimmage today. So I mean
Yeah.
that's going to win you a lot of games if you're just constantly, even if it's 1, 2, 3 yards, if you're just constantly chopping wood there, you're going to be fine. And it was
Hmm.
it was the opposite the other way. Chilton was they were suffering penalties. They were playing behind the sticks. They were playing a little frustrated at times. And once you get behind on a team like Bremont, they're so explosive. It's hard to come back in a situation like
Hmm.
that.
Hmm. Hmm. Yep. Yep.
Well, yeah. I mean, we knew Bremond was good coming into the year. They made the state semifinals last year. To me, it almost feels like Jerry World or bust for this team at this point, and so be
It
fun
is.
fun to see how it goes the rest of the year. Chad was out in Gatesville, America, and early on wasn't it like 7-7 or something like
It
that?
was 7-7. Before I dive into my game, I just looked over at our trip Friday night. TIG 42, Palestine Westwood 20.
That's
You
pretty
guys seen that yet?
freaking
Wait,
big.
they won?
They won 42
What?
to 20.
Wow,
Oh, that's huge.
that is
Yeah.
huge.
Oh, wow.
It makes me wonder in a big way if Kavion Bryant didn't play or something.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah, that
yeah,
was my first thought.
I was having trouble finding info on him this week as I tried to write that capsule, but I mean, whew. I mean, I haven't even looked at the score, but I saw they were up 21-7 at halftime. So anyway,
yeah. That's interesting for sure.
that opens the door for the Fairfield Eagles to win that district and move up in the state rankings too. Okay, so Gatesville. Well, let me start by saying it had a little bit of J&M barbecue brisket and sausage, and then the chocolate cake. The chocolate cake was the best thing, and the barbecue was fantastic, but the chocolate cake was so. Have you had the chocolate cake there, Michael?
I don't know if I have, Chad. I really don't. I don't think I have.
A
Oh.
lot of times they have different stuff. At least,
I
They
think
had
I would know
also
if I
had some
had.
tacos, but I don't know that it maybe was a little bit stripped down because of the earlier kickoff time, but uh and maybe I went up there a little bit early because I need to get down to the field to get ready for photo stuff. But I was well satisfied. So it was another successful trip to Gatesville. I also spent the second half up in the press box because I didn't want to have my camera there. I didn't want to carry all my rain gear out to the field with it not raining, and then I also didn't want to get it start raining and get my camera all messed up. Plus, I got some good shots in the first half, and it gotten dark and everything. So I spent the second half in the press box, and they're just really nice up there. They have what I guess is a husband-wife combo that do the spotting and announcing, and just everybody is really friendly, and I really enjoyed it. I was watching the weather. One guy had the lightning radar up, and I was keeping an eye on it. As the second half started, lightning was 27 miles away, and then it slowly worked its way up to about 18 miles away midway through the fourth quarter. And I was kind of confident that they might get through the game. And all of a sudden, with 3:50 left, that alarm sounds in 30 minutes. So, but
fun.
aside from that, the action on the field, China Spring did put together quite a few drives, and Krishan Gregory is a good running back, and Jacoby
He's
Bledsoe is
very
a
good, man.
good wide receiver. Yeah, and
Two good
I
players.
like Jackson Knapp. He got a little bit banged up. He was limping a little bit, and you could tell he was hurting. He was trying to make a go of it, but he was hurting, and that didn't help because that Gatesville defense is pretty
Oh,
tenacious.
they're really good, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they came up with at least 3 turnovers that stopped China Spring drives. That were, China Spring didn't punt that much, or didn't punt that many times, but Gatesville got 3 turnovers. They also got a stop on downs inside well, I guess China Spring got to the 5, and then Gatesville got a sack back to the 10, and there was a couple of incomplete passes. Another time they got to the 10 and got a holding penalty back to the 20 and didn't score on that one. So Gatesville definitely did a good job of not breaking and giving up points on those drives. And then, man, what can you say about Amos Phillips? Just absolutely one of the best players in our area. Made a
He is.
great, he didn't really moss the guy because he wasn't behind him, but he got a high point catch and then spilled over the guy into the end zone.
Great
Bryce liked that.
picture. Great
Yeah,
picture.
the cheerleader freaking out in the background, and
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I
She's
love it.
funny. She's funny.
Uh, Also got a good shot of Cy Burns on his touchdown run when he carried Bledsoe on his
Yeah,
back into the end zone, and the whole Gatesville sideline is in the background signaling touchdown.
Yeah, I originally put just to get in the weeds a little. I originally put that photo 1st, and then I'm going through your photos and I'm looking at each one, and I just like it probably was the cheerleader that sold it for me because she's jumping up and down. And it's just it's really good. You got 2 other photographers in that photo.
Oh yeah, in the background, yeah. And here's the thing. Here's what's unusual about Gatesville. The most stadiums, to have the sun at your back, you want to be at the home sideline, right? Which I guess means at most stadiums, the home side is on the west side because the sun's going down behind the stands, right? Well, in Gatesville, the home side is on the east side.
Yeah,
and so they're looking into the sun, and they were looking into the sun as it set. Well, it was overcast, so they didn't have really a problem. But so I was on the China Spring sideline shooting back towards the Gatesville stands, and that was why I was able to get some of those reactions, is because they had the Gatesville side in the background. But but to get back in the points of victory for Gatesville, Garrett Keaton, which we've talked about this. They got Cy Burns named for Cy Young, I assume, and then Garrett Keaton named for Lou Gehrig. That's probably not the case with either kid, but I referred to him in a tweet as the luckiest man on the face of the earth, throwing a touchdown on a flea flicker.
You also tagged me in that because you know how much I love chicanery.
Just razzle dazzle. So that was the only touchdown in the second half, and that one went for 50 yards to Amos Phillips. Garrett Keaton threw a 79-yard touchdown to his brother Grady Keaton in the second quarter. It was a kind of a deep slant, and Grady Keaton ran away from him. And then the other touchdown was,
by the way,
By the way,
so Gary Keaton Sr., Amos Phillips Sr., Eli Phillips, sophomore, younger brother, Keaton, sophomore, younger brother, I'm pretty sure. So just point that.
They have a lot of brother acts over there. I know they had the Allman Brothers. I think there's only one Allman brother left.
You're off the rails. Can I get to my game now?
There is an Allman brother. There is an Allman.
No, there is. Yeah, there is. There's I think it's Clark. Clark Allman is the one that's still there.
Yes. Okay. You're right. I was thinking you were doing a band reference there. The Allman.
There's no. They need like a Garrett Doobie. Garrett and Greg Doobie.
The Doobie.
Now we're off the rails.
All right. Let me get to my game. I was at the Midway-Killeen game, and we thought it would be just an absolute blowout. And look, it started that way. I'll tell y'all kind of, at the very start of the game, Killeen gets the ball, 3 and out, punt. I saw a 0-yard punt. It was a low snap. The Killeen punter was under pressure. He punts it straight up in the air, and it went 0 yards. And so Midway scores quick.
It went to the line of scrimmage, or it went to where he punted it from?
It went to the line of scrimmage.
Okay.
And the second possession by Killeen, another low snap, and this time the kid foolishly tried to run with it, and Midway swarms him, and so they lost yards on that one. Killeen did, and bam, right off the bat, it's 14-0. And then early in the second quarter, it's 28-8. And here's the thing: Killeen couldn't get out of its own way. They'd make a big play, and then holding. Bring it back. It was a touchdown called back for holding. They had, much like Conley last week that I saw, they had 13 penalties in this game, Killeen did. Well, then at the end of the second quarter, Killeen gets a touchdown on they have some slippery guys. And now Midway's going to go back and look at the film and go, we should have tackled better. We should have tackled better. But they do have some slippery guys. They score a touchdown on a quarterback's run, and then they get it back, and let's see, how did they get it back again? It was in my story. I guess Midway went 3 and out. Yeah, Midway went 3 and out. They got it back, and quarterback throws an 80-yard touchdown pass, and boom! All of a sudden, it's 28-20 at halftime, and you're like, "Whoa, this isn't what it was supposed to be," like. And to Midway's credit, they didn't panic. They scored on each of their first 3 drives of the second half, including one that took up more than half of the third quarter. One of these sort of slow marches, 89 yards, 13 plays, and got a big conversion from Tyler Scythe on that drive. And on that same play, y'all, so it's like 3rd and 7. They get it to Scythe for 13 yards. Scythe had a big game tonight. And I got my video interview with Tyler Scythe in the game. So bonus
with who? With Scythe?
Yeah. And nice. I had it on video. So yes. And on that same play, there was a roughing the passer penalty against Killeen and an unsportsmanlike conduct for taunting against Killeen. And they marked off both fouls after the 13-yard gain. So now you got 30 more yards.
That's a way to flip the field.
Yeah. So anyway, in the second half, all that to say, Midway did what it should do, got the separation that it needed. The numbers that you would expect. McNair had 4 touchdown passes. Lathan Wissington had like $130 and a couple touchdowns. JFV got in the end zone. Tyler Scythe 8 for like 127, 2 touchdowns. So, Midway takes care of business. And here's the big picture. So Midway's now sitting at 3-1 in district. Here's the thing. They don't have that number 1 spot in 6A Division 1 wrapped up in that district yet, because Copper's Cove is also sitting there at 3-1. Cove got a big win tonight over Shoemaker.
That is a really big win. Yeah.
And next week it's Cove and Temple, and then of course Midway has Bryan, so they'll beat Bryan. And you get in week 11 a game that Michael's going to go cover. Midway at Cove.
So if Cove beats Temple next week, that's a big game.
Yeah,
it will be. Yeah,
right.
It will be.
Sure. It would essentially be for seeding, because, I think you figured out where I was going with this. Those 5 teams that are competing for the spots, it goes like this in enrollment: Midway, Temple, Cove, Shoemaker, Harker Heights. So Shoemaker and Harker Heights are going to be the small schools. I guess if Temple somehow snuck its way in there, Cove could be a small school, and then Midway would get the edge over Temple by beating them. But we'll see how it all plays out. But that Midway Cove game could be big for seeding. So
the important thing for Midway is that Harker Heights will go to the smaller schools.
Yes.
So they won't get bumped to a 2 seed by Harker Heights.
Correct.
And they control their own destiny at Cove.
Yeah, so, that is correct. Were there any other scores before we get out of here that y'all wanted to?
La-vega,
I tell you one score. 34-3 for me for the week right now. And
nice.
And I'm creeping up 79.8% for the season. That elusive 80% is right there. I'm on the cusp of it.
You're having a good season. You're having a really good season. Yeah.
Do y'all want to talk about la-vega-Robinson yesterday?
Oh yeah.
We have a few more minutes here.
Okay. Well, I'll make it quick because this game can pretty much be summed up in a few moments. First off, hats off to Robinson. Really, really good performance. In fact, I would go as far to say maybe the Rockets should have won. And I'm sure you guys have all seen the story by now. But
bad bounce.
I mean, dude, so So Robinson takes the lead on a 24-yard touchdown by Evan Moreno. It was a 4th and 4 call. Really good. I mean, like, what are you going to do in that moment? I think it's like midway through the fourth quarter at this point, early in the fourth quarter. Like, it's a gotta get it situation. Moreno scores. They take a 27-24 lead, and you're thinking, whoa, now the pressure's on la-vega. Kind of a unique spot for the Pirates in terms of district play, you know? And then Robinson's defense comes right out and gets a stop. And you're like, whoa, this could get really, like, can Robinson maybe milk some clock here, maybe score again, and really, like, take control of this thing? Well, yes, they got the stop. la-vega had to punt from its own 16. It was a low liner punt up the middle. I talked to Kevin Brown after the game. He said his returner should have said, Peter, which means get the you-know-what out of the way. Don't get close to the ball. Mm-hmm. He doesn't call Peter. I don't know who the kid was. I really don't. And I'm not trying to dog on the kid. This was not his fault. But the low liner punt bonks off the kid's head. It was a Robinson kid, like maybe 40 yards or 30 yards from where the punt took place. Was a low liner punt, bops off his head, rolls about 20 yards toward the end zone la-vega's trying to score on. Man, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the kid's name, but it was a defensive back for la-vega. And all the coaches on the sideline are, go get the ball, go get it. It hit his head, you know. And he's like, whoa. He runs. He's the only one, you know, that had a chance to get it. He's running. He dives on it. It goes from you're punting from your own 16 to you just gained 54 yards and you have a fresh set of downs. So la-vega takes it, scores 4 plays later. They take a 31-27 lead and win the game that way by getting stops after that. I mean, talk about snatching victory from the jaws of defeat right there. Unbelievable, guys. Unbelievable.
Wow. It's such a weird play too, because like on a deal where the opposing team touches the ball, right? Like if a player partially blocks a punt at the point of the punt, right? It's still just it's still just a punt, right?
Yes.
And like, what point does it once it clears the line of scrimmage, or once it clears? It's such a weird rule of football that I'm not even sure what it is. But obviously, if it comes down and hits somebody, it's in the zone. Like that's a first down and beyond the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that's a great point, Chad. Because there was a play tonight in the Midway-Killeen game where Midway had a punt blocked. And it ended up still going forward. It hit a Killeen kid's foot. Midway actually came down with the ball. And for a minute, I'm going, is that Midway's ball? Like, you know, but it was Killeen's ball. So I don't know. I mean, that's a rule.
Anyway, nice win for the Pirates. They control their destiny to win that district again. But I'm telling you guys, Robinson's good. They're really good.
No doubt.
I wrote up my story. You know, lo and behold, next week we got another banger in that district as Gatesville goes over to Robinson.
Should be a lot of fun.
Battle for second place. For second.
Well, and then, you know, by the same token, China Spring goes to Lorena, and that's going to be for a playoff spot probably, or potentially.
Indeed.
Yep.
Indeed.
I guess we talked about that round robin, and with Lorena beating Connolly tonight, then Connolly is kind of on the bad end of that round robin for
they are. It's almost, I mean, it's going to be really hard for them to climb out of that. It may not be possible.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, well, get on the road, Michael. Be careful. Everybody be safe out there, but we'll talk more about it next week. See y'all later.